In fact, we did that in a series of focus groups. So each focus group is built on the other focus group. So from the first focus group, we take the outcome of it, we use it for designing the second, the third, and so on. And in fact, in some of those focus groups, we had a team working on the background so they can develop things like games and things like that on the fly as the focus group is going on. And we designed in a way so they can enter, they just talk in a break, talk to the people, and then it start utilizing what they are saying during the focus group itself. Identify consumer. This is I will start with. It's I think it's the very important thing because it will highlight the difference between connectors and general loyal users. Identify characteristics and connectors and general users, and initially profile the connectors into different groups based on the mix characteristic and profile loyal users. We used, in fact, again, we took it from psychology books. We defined them outspoken, passionate, curious about whatever, cleaning, blah, 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 caring, opinionated, driven, empathetic. These are the characteristics of the people, which is generally the people, especially the connecting people. But there is a several combination, not everybody have everything. First, the general loyalists, they are just loyal user, will not engage in any activities, talks when asked, so she is outspoken, she talks, but only when she is asked, has her own rituals and opinion, but might not voice them with confidence, listen, ask, but no feedback. The connectors, they are more emotional, more social based. They will talk there is an L here. They will talk to the message to 20 people, only 10 will listen. And there is, from the communicator, there is a maven. So the more information based, they will talk, they will take the message to 5 and 5 will listen. So the profiling here is usually from the emotional and the thinking together. So we have the social person, she's a typical connector, socially driven, with 3 or more ecosystem. Ecosystem, we mean the groups they connect with. So they talk with the neighbors, with the friends, with in work, and so there's different groups. So the more group they are talking with, that means they have a wider circle of influence. And she is not opinionated. She has all the characteristics, but not opinionated. The teacher, which is the professional, I would call it, or she likes to communicate with people as the professional and the expert. And she's typical maven, more information maven, seen as expert, with at least 2 ecosystems involved. And this is the thing which is missing, empathetic. So she's driven with information and with confidence. Knows what she do. She's a mix of maven and connector. More inclined toward maven, knows more ecosystem than the teacher, so they have 3 or more. The loving person, it's mixed connector and maven, more inclined toward connector, more informed than the social, and knows 2 to 3 ecosystem. In fact, from that we had a screening questionnaire to identify that for the focus groups, and later on it's used to recruit the word of mouth ambassadors. The screening is not about asking a question. We do ask a question in screening, but it's we need to look at the answers, and from the way of answering, we define who they are according to the psychographic analysis. So the screening is how they answer. It's not the answers themselves in most of the questions there. So we had to be very careful in the screening, or the recruiters has to be properly trained on how they do that.
Can you describe the circles that you have? They've moved in different relation to each other?
Yeah, opinionated, curious is this is more overlapping each other. It's not just, for instance, the opinionated person is it's very strongly opinionated. But when you combine it with curious about, so he is opinionated, but at the same time he is. It's less because he is more curious at the same time.
So when I see those two overlap, you're saying that those two characteristics are sort of being held.
That's true.
As opposed to being opposite of each other.
Not opposite, but each one is strong.
Okay.
He's curious, yes, but I'm very opinionated. When it's combined together, I'm opinionated, but the curiosity it makes both of them less. Developing word-of-mouth campaign claim, schemas we need to change, break, identify motivation, what schemas, source of information, or what we call it info cycle. Ambassadors, we wanted to define that, and we want to define the target market. So it's multiple target research. Additionally, we need to know communication cycle, origin of schema, how they formatted, usage, aptitude toward cleaning and family. The dynamics. We made 5 groups. The first one is objective is identify schemas, information cycle, which is the origin and things like context and so on, and usage and attitude and so on. The composition we wanted, we had, in fact it was a mini group, it was 4. No, this one was 6. It's brand 2 from brand loyalists, 2 the competition or the generic loose users, and 2 occasional users of the brand. We were looking for schema breakers that appeared in the discussion. Of course, we are looking for schemas, but we are also within the discussion, okay, what can break that? How brand users work together. So when, for instance, there is a kind of a breaker coming in, are they agreeing together on that thing or not? Because what we want, and whenever there is a word of mouth campaign, that we want the message or the claim to resonate with the users, so it becomes stronger. So we have this energy of strengthening the word of mouth campaign. How brand users affect others. So in fact, the first one was a kind of discovering what schemas, how can we break it. It was a kind of a discovery or exploratory. The second one, we wanted to develop debate schemas. So loyal brand advocates, connectors, what can we do to make them talk, the idea of brand family. The third, this one was only Clorox or the brand users. So we wanted from the how they are working together. So we wanted, okay, let's have the advocates, the connectors advocate, who will be the ambassadors, and let them in a mini group and 4 of them, and let's see how they talk, how they. How can we make them talk? How can we communicate with them so they can communicate the message later on? From the 2 groups up there, we started to do, we wanted to identify schema breakers, identify suitable connector profile, and what we did, part of it was a card game. So whatever schemas, arguments, they coming in, so we started to have cards of the schemas that appeared, and throw it to them to have different argument about the different schemas that we had. Schemas related to the Clorox or the brand, and schemas related to the loose. So it's not one way, it's not only focusing on the Clorox, but it is for the Clorox and for the loose generic. Yeah.
Could you give an example of what kind of, how did you throw that in? What did you throw in?
Let me. I was not doing myself. Something, for instance, if the bridge is harsh on my hands and on my eyes, then I must be cleaning well. So this is a kind of schema they have. If it is harsh, well, it hurts my hand, but that means it's strong cleaning, it's strong bridge. This is what clean very well.
And this you collected in the first group, right?
Yes, in the first group, and yeah, in the first group, that's true, and partly also in the second and the third group, because what happened, in fact, that we the first group, we started first with the schemas, and we thought, okay, what's common, what's being repeated, and so on, and then on the background we started to write the cards, and in the break we gave them the card, and then we started the talking again with the card game. Things like there is no better time spent caring for my kids than that spent cleaning and cleaning all days. So if I want to serve my family, I should be all the day cleaning the house. So also it's not the schemas. The schemas is not only related to the cleaning itself, but also it's related to the attitude toward the family, what that means to their homes, to their kids, to their so on. Okay. Group 4 is test argument in more normal environment. So we had the loyal advocate connector brand users, which is this one. And we did not get the connectors, but we got the general loose users, the general loose bleach users. So they are not the communicator, but they are the general public. And so we brought up some of the schemas which we thought, well, we can break. And so we tested the schema through them, through communicating from here to there. There is another thing. In the local advocates connectors, we had the 4 different types of connectors. So we wanted to know who is the best from the connectors can communicate with the public. For instance, we found out that one of them, which is, she knows what exactly she's doing, she's partly maybe, it's a canny person, if I may call it. This one, for instance, she was very aggressive in communicating. She started to teach them, oh, okay, you are using the loose bleach, the generic one, because you are poor people, you don't have money, and so on. So she started on the negative side. Oh, okay, this profile of people,